Good morning. It is actually cold today. Woke up in the middle of the night. My head was freezing. I fished out my sock hat. And it's cold this morning. It's got to be, I don't even know. It's hard to gauge because we haven't had cold in a while. But I bet it's in the upper 40s maybe. But I'm going to make some coffee and get packed up and then we'll get to going. It is 6:50. I am walking and I am cold. I wanted to leave a coat on, but I know, be bold, start cold. I figured as soon as I started walking with a coat, I'd be hot. So this stretch of like 10 or 11 miles to Crater Lake is the one that's supposed to have tons of blowdowns. I'm walking around one right now. And from where I'm standing, I see 3 more ahead of me. Looks like these next 3 are step overs though. So they're kind of just like a speed bump. You gotta stop. Oh my gosh, I see another 4 way up in the distance. So this may take a little bit, but oh well, not that far to go. I may need to get some gloves out. My hands are cold. Hollywood and CC were awake. I was talking to Hollywood for a few minutes as I was getting ready, but then I said bye to both of them when I was leaving, and no response. I think they both fell back asleep. Hollywood said he was up all night long. He's like, "You didn't hear me yelling at that deer?" I was like, "No." So there was a comment on this camp area, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, that a mountain lion was like stalking the camp all night long. So we were kind of talking about that last night. And then after I was done with the video and as we were getting close to ready for sleeping, we heard this thing in the distance. It sounded like a lion or a tiger or a big cat growling. It happened a couple times. Hollywood's like, "Oh, it's got to be a bird." But then he said someone was walking around his tent and he kept getting up, shining his white light at it. And it was a deer every time. But yeah, I slept through all that, thank goodness. Once I got my sock hat out, and because I woke up cold, or my head was, once I put my sock hat on, man, I was out the rest of the night. So I feel like I've had a good sleep. I'm ready to tackle some blowdowns. Came from that direction. This is the first set of blowdowns. And I had gloves on, or I have gloves on, but I have my hands all balled up in using them like mittens. I had to take that off. So apparently we have about 10 miles of this. So, like speed bumps. Actually, we'll never get up any speed to have to slow down. The trail goes right here. And somewhere there's a trail through that jumbled mess. The trail's been pretty decent as far as what we typically just kind of lump into the same category as blowdowns. But I don't think these are really blowdowns. I think this is more just all deadfall. It's all dead from a fire several years ago, and finally they all just fall down. I don't want to say this too much because I'm going to jinx myself again. But that first mile or two, there were tons of deadfall or blowdowns, whatever you want to call them. But the trail has been pretty okay the last few miles. Got some big mountains in the distance. Or bigger. I did not realize we were going to be entering the park this soon. This is the most well-marked boundary I've seen. Look at that. All right, I'm sitting on a rock. Stopped to filter some water here. I've done 7.7 and I got 3.2 to go to the turnoff where I'll get off the trail and take a little road over to the Mazama Village. I'm ready for food. Got to do a resupply just enough to get me through tomorrow till we get to Shelter Cove or get the hitch. So probably need to get some candy, because I have been out of candy for 2 days. My food situation right now, I do have one lunch remaining, which is just some couscous, and I have one bar left. I have a Bob's bar left. This morning I already had a Pro Meal bar, like early this morning, but an hour and a half ago I had a Lara bar. So I have one more bar, so I'll probably eat that in about a mile or so. When I get to the campground, I'm gonna have to figure out, I'm probably gonna try to shower here because I think it's free. I'm gonna try to figure out this ride situation, because I had service earlier and we haven't got anything figured out. But the camp host there apparently will help figure this out. So I'm gonna go talk to the camp host. And then if CC and Hollywood have not caught up by then, I'm gonna go ahead and go eat, because I'm hungry. Something I don't know that I've talked about much, or if at all. The thing that I like the most about being out here, I'm in the backcountry, at least 3 miles from a road, in a national park, completely alone. It's so quiet. No people, no nothing. So like when I was sitting there filtering my water, and then just sitting there for a few minutes after I was done, the stillness and the peace is just awesome. I love being out here in the backcountry like that. I think a lot of times y'all think that, or maybe I give you the impression that we're like together a lot, like our crew, or other hikers. We're usually not. We're mostly alone. Sometimes I go hours without seeing anybody else. Generally though, the three of us, depending on when you leave camp or whatever, we usually always just kind of run into each other for get water or lunch. And then we always camp together. But for the most part, we all hike alone all day. So it's mostly a very much experience of solitude. And, you know, if you're looking for, or you think that this is something where we're all together laughing and talking all day, occasionally we walk together for a couple miles, talk about something, but that's pretty rare. Most of the time, we're just walking by ourselves in the woods. And now that we're back in the forest more often, I'm really enjoying it. I don't like the big open as much. Maybe it's just because I'm used to the woods of the Midwest and the East Coast, and I don't know, I feel more at home in the woods. Okay, I'm at a trailhead parking lot. I'm not sure what that's running. The generator's going, and there's a road right out here, and I'm going to roadwalk to get to Mazama Village. Okay, I got to the road. The path I'm on is not actually the PCT, it's just a path along the road. The PCT crossed the road back there, so we'll come back there tomorrow. And right now I'm road walking down to the campground and general store. I think it's only a little over a mile. Alright, so it looks like I am first. First thing I come to is the restaurant and gift shop. So maybe I will stop here before I head on over to the campground, the general store. I have been in here for a few hours. I ate some very, very average fish and chips. When I got in there and I was getting my drink, somebody yelled "Chap," and it was Guardian. So I sat with Guardian for a bit. Hollywood and CC are here, and we all ate, and now we're gonna go find the camp situation. And yeah, I think that's about it. I do want to say thank you so much to Ron and Christine, my mom's cousin, who somehow I've never met, but you're following along, and thank you very much for the trail magic you sent. Probably gonna put that towards a new tent, although I got an email from Z-Packs, and they're not gonna bring me what I want.
So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that tent situation, if I get something different or wait or whatever. But for now, let's go figure out the rest of this, and it's just cool to be camping in a national park. We made a pit stop at the general store. We're gonna come back here later, but we got some Modelo's. This is for Jeffrey R. He told me I had to give Hollywood 3 PBRs. They didn't have PBR, so far I got him 2 Modelo's, so I owe him 1 more beer. It's 3:15. I am showered in a lukewarm, mostly cool shower, but it was doable. I'm all set up here. I'll show you this in a minute. Got my shirt just in the sun, kind of drying, and let the sun clean it. I did wash out 1 pair of socks and 1 pair of underwear really well in the shower. Got them hanging up here to dry. The only other thing I really got to do is get some food for tomorrow at the general store, eat something else today, and I got to go charge my stuff. So I think Hollywood already headed over to where we can charge. So I'm going to start heading that way now and get my phone and my battery bank charging. All right, there's my tent, my shirt over there. Got a pair of underwear and socks hanging up there. I washed my shorts as well and just wrung them out and put them on wet so they'll dry while I'm walking. Now that I think about it, I probably should have rinsed up my shirt too, but I didn't, so. My phone has been charging for quite a while, so you've missed all the fun, exciting stuff. You didn't miss anything. Just resupplied, showered, all that kind of stuff. Now we're headed up to do the happy hour. We've heard from 4 to 7, all the appetizers in the restaurant are half off. So that's where we're gonna go. We're gonna get all the appetizers and only spend half our money. There's the store I resupplied. And there's the restaurant right up there. It says only $7.50 with the happy hour deal. It is 7:15. We had dinner, we had dessert. Actually, yeah, I had dessert. We went back to the general store. Hollywood has been grooming himself very meticulously for a while. He's got, look at this barber, like this haircutting kit he's got right there. He's got everything. He's still looking for a Sharpie so he can write on his outside of his pack, free haircuts. And we're about to play, what are we playing, Rummy?
Rummy.
We're gonna play cards. It is 8:30. We played cards for quite a while on the ground. The people at the picnic table by us kind of all moved. So we graduated up to the picnic table and played for a bit. A young guy, 19 years old from Germany, he's just out here for a 2-week section hike, joined us and played a couple hands. And Cece was gonna run up to try to get an ice cream before the store closed. I'm gonna go find the bathroom. And we are setting an alarm for 4 a.m. We need to be walking about 5. Sorry, somebody came riding by on a bicycle and distracted me. We have a ride scheduled tomorrow for 1 p.m. and it's 15 miles from here. I will go ahead and tell you good night, but I'm also going to add in a screenshot of the map and I will explain a little bit about what our plan is. Okay, going to try to give you a little bit of a quick understanding here. Where the arrow is at the bottom of the screen is where we are tonight. There's a red circle with like a caution just above us. That's where the PCT is officially closed, and it's closed for almost 100 miles from there to the north. We're going to take the PCT alternate, the rim trail that goes along the edge of Crater Lake, which is even in when there's not a fire, most people take that alternate instead of the official PCT. So we're going to hike that all the way to the end of Crater Lake National Park to a Highway 209, and then we will get a ride there because there's really not a viable, reasonable way to keep a footpath all that way. It's like an hour-and-a-half car drive. So that's our plan. We're going to get picked up tomorrow at 1 p.m., so we have to get started early in the morning, and then we'll be shuttled up around the fire closure.